over here? Am I going to be out of your line of sight to
Yeah, you're fine.
kind of be like in this
Yeah.
little spot? Okay.
Don't jump on the table and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, I don't do tail dancing anymore. Not since the last time.
Behind you guys.
All these photos related?
That's everyone's, the
Okay.
injuries from firefighting.
All right.
There's no random accidental ones.
Okay, good.
I think I'll hide
Here,
behind you
I
right
can make room.
now. No, I was gonna shut those doors behind them, but
All right.
Brian, I might have you do that.
You what now? You shut the
Well,
door?
I just-
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
I'm gonna be here.
No, they're just gonna
Thank you.
all be sitting.
Are the firefighters here too?
Not all of them, about 5 or 6.
Circle around here. Just gonna do a semicircle.
Okay.
Good morning. Roll on, roll off car carrying ships must always disconnect the batteries, wrap them and cap them. If they do not, and as a result someone's harmed, that ship owner is responsible for the harm. A ship owner must always turn the fire alarm on after packing a roll-on, roll-off cars, butt to nose, side to side, packed into a deck. If they do not, and as a result someone is harmed, they're responsible for the harm. A crew that comes into Jacksonville at the helm of a ship in the St. Johns River in Blount Island must be able to communicate with first responders in English in American ports. If they cannot, and as a result someone's harmed, they're responsible for the harm. In 2019, 2 Grimaldi ships caught fire while hauling cars in roll-on, roll-off ships. In March of 2019, the Grand America off the coast of France caught fire because batteries were not disconnected. It burned up the ship. It sank to the bottom of the sea off the coast of France, causing a major environmental disaster. In May of 2019, only 2 months later, the Grand Europa off the coast of Spain again caught fire. A Grimaldi ship hauling cars because they did not disconnect the batteries. These are safety rules that keep us all safe and protect our environment. They're an international standard safety rule that protect us all. In June of 2020, the Hoegh Xiamen sailed into the St. Johns River, into Jacksonville, to load 1,500 junk cars, nose to butt, side to side, 5 inches next to each other. On June the 4th, they crammed in over 1,500 wrecked cars. A post-incident survey showed 70% of those cars did not have the batteries disconnected. Batteries that are not disconnected cause fires, they sink ships, and they cause environmental disasters. At 2:45 p.m. on June the 4th, 2020, loading was completed. The ship captain never turned on the fire alarm. For an hour, the fire caught, went out of control, and became an inferno. Thousands of degrees Fahrenheit. The captain of the ship was a Chinese national who could not communicate in English. did not even know how to call 911. Fire and rescue got notice of this because a port worker rode up to the fire station on Blount Island and said, there's a ship on fire. At 4:02 p.m. and 17 minutes after this fire started, our firemen rolled up. It became a 3-alarm fire. The Jacksonville Fire and Rescue mission statement is to protect people, property, and the environment of this great county, Duval County. These 11 brave firemen behind me responded to the call to protect the lifeblood of Jacksonville, the St. Johns River, from an environmental catastrophe, to protect people and protect property. When they got there, the Chinese crew could not communicate with the firemen to tell them where the fire was, how to get there, or what firefighting apparatus they had. Critical minutes, tens of minutes, 30 minutes, an hour was lost as the firemen tried to find the source of this fire and to prevent an explosion, endangering the firefighters and our city. At 6:45 p.m., hours after this fire had started, due to the negligence and neglect of the crew and the company of this ship, these 11 firefighters were in that ship trying to prevent a disaster, and the ship exploded. For the first time in American jurisprudence, in the history of maritime law, first responders have now been recognized to have a right to hold negligent ship owners and negligent shippers accountable and responsible when they cause harm to first responders, because when they fail to follow the safety rules, they need to be held accountable. Never in the history of admiralty law or American jurisprudence until this case could a ship owner be held responsible for their conduct when they hurt our first responders. There are 4 defendants in this case: Horizon, SSA, Grimaldi, and Hoegh Autoliners. The first 3 defendants, Horizon, SSA, and Grimaldi, reached a settlement of $16 million collectively with these firefighters for the harm they caused. Hoegh Autoliners held out until the Friday before trial. And on the eve before a Monday trial, Hoegh settled confidentially. Hoegh is seen by these firefighters as the most culpable of all the defendants. They crewed and staffed the ship. The captain of the ship was their employee. 11 brave firefighters who responded to the call to protect and defend life, property, and the environment have now established a new right for every firefighter across this country to hold foreign actors accountable and responsible when they sail into American ports. If they cause a fire and cause an explosion and negligently hurt American first responders, they will be held accountable and responsible. So, every ship that comes into American ports is now on notice that American law protects our first responders. You need to play by the safety rules that we all share that keep us all safe and protect our environment. Now, firefighter O'Shell has a brief statement on behalf of all the firefighters. Now, firefighter O'Shell has a brief statement on behalf of all the firefighters. Again, much of this settlement was confidential. He won't be able to take any questions, but he does have a statement to read on behalf of the Jacksonville Fire and Rescue Department.
Good morning. We are so grateful that this case has been resolved, and we're thankful for the Patrick team for fighting this battle with us. We are all still haunted by this terrifying day, and we hope that this result will spare other first responders from having to go through something like this in the future. Thank you.
Now, if y'all have any questions, happy to field them and answer as best I can.
I'm kind of surprised to hear that this is the first time that, you know, this precedent has been set. I'm curious why you think that is.
Well, the firefighter law was abolished in Florida decades ago, so that when someone negligently or intentionally or recklessly caused a fire in the state, on state lands, that they could be held accountable. That's the firefighter rule. Never has that right been established or accepted under admiralty law. In fact, all 4 defendants filed a motion to dismiss this case because that right had never been recognized in the history of admiralty law, internationally, including in America. But brave judges did the right thing and established a right to hold people accountable and responsible when they negligently harm our first responders under admiralty and maritime law. This happened in the St. Johns River. It's a navigable waterway, meaning admiralty law applies, not Florida law. So it's the first time it's ever been established or recognized in the history of American jurisprudence.
With that said, what message does this send to other ship companies who want to bring their product to American spots?
Y'all may have seen a couple of weeks ago, a cargo ship exploded in China. It exploded. It was a mushroom fireball. In China, people don't have rights. Those first responders are served as toast to their family. In America, you play by the rules now. This case establishes you play by the rules. And if you don't, you'll be held accountable and responsible. They're very simple rules. It's a 10-cent cap on a battery. 10 cents to cap a pull of a battery so that no spark happens. So easy. Turn on the fire alarm. It never gets out of control. These are easy things that were recklessly and negligently ignored. So, play by the rules that we all share and keep us all safe.
And we see some of the photos of the injuries the firefighters received. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So these firemen had 1st, 2nd, and 3rd degree burns, they had snapped bones, faces, wounds opened up. It's the internal injuries, the injuries you can't see, the PTSD. Being trapped in a dark hole of a ship that looks like Armageddon and an explosion happening and thinking you'll never see your child or wife again. Those are the worst injuries, and it never should have happened.
If a firefighter is comfortable sharing with their local news the trials and tribulations that they faced getting to this point right here, if they'll allow it.
There are certain confidentiality aspects of the settlement that we need to be very careful of. We've shared with you what we can, so it's important that I field that on behalf of them, since they may not understand the legalese of these things. So I'm happy to try to answer any questions you may have as best I can. All right. Thank you all. God bless.
Thank you.